Hello there, my wonderful viewers, my fantastic castmates, and anyone else who may be joining us for when this is on a VOD. Welcome back to Horde of Tales for our third session of the Severed City, our Thirsty Sword Lesbians series that we are having here on Horde of Tales. My name is Angela Lemos Morevejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be your game master for this series. I have had the pleasure of getting to try and corral all of these chaotic thirsty cats from getting involved in hanky-panky and all manner of mischief and other feelings that have suddenly emerged from godlike interactions and such. But we'll get into yes, yes. There's no. There is yes. There is no denial. This is not Catholicism. We do not have to embrace denial. But in all seriousness, it is good to be back here for another session of this. And our full cast is back. Porna is here again, so we can all celebrate. Everyone take a moment to praise Porna out loud if need be. Embarrass
You're
her.
amazing. You're wonderful. You're beautiful.
But I'm going to let folks introduce themselves real quick, and then I'll jump us right back into it. Had a little bit of some tech issues at the start, but it is so good to be here with folks, so that's not that big a deal. So I'm going to start us off for introductions with the amazing Humalu.
Oh, it's me. Hi. I am Emma or Hamalu on the internet. I use she, they pronouns. I'm bringing to you Daisy, who uses any and all, depending on who they're being that day. And everything is fine. They are the trickster, and they just do tricksy things. They don't do feelings.
Certainly the most convincing little chortle I've heard in many a year. Speaking of convincing self-denial and all of that, we're going to pass it on over to Sakaya.
Hello, my lovelies. I am Sakaya. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm playing Sister Solana, who also goes by she, her pronouns. I'm the devoted, and I am completely devoted to my goddess, and I'm completely devoted secretly to Olivia, and I did not stray and spend any fun time with anyone else. Everything is fine.
Right, it's the worst. This is the worst lesbian U-Haul situation I've heard of. You're not even actually in a U-Haul situation. Speaking of lesbian and or bush shenanigans and such, we're passing it over for her principal.
Hi, I'm Kosovo, pronouns he, she, they. I'm playing Rangada, pronouns he and she. And the infamous playing infamous also suffering from a little bit of RSD. We'll see how that goes.
Keyboard was suddenly not working for a moment. Passing it on over to the returning wonder, the star, the shining glimmer in all of our hearts. And I say all of these things solely to leave her blushing and unable to actually speak. Go Porna.
Thanks. I am Purna. My pronouns are she, her. I am playing Olivia, pronouns she, they, the dreamer, who definitely has no unresolved emotional issues. And why would you ask?
Never do. As our fantastic Humalu has pointed out, feelings, ew, terrible. Why? Why would you do that? But speaking of feelings, last session, everybody, we had quite a lot of feelings emerge from different folks as, yeah. Folks talked about gods a lot to a surprising degree, as 3 of our party had a manifestation of their deities appear. Yeah, the group got to be introduced to the fantastic Ambrose Pierce, who was familiar to one of our party, at least maybe not initially, until he received a rather stern reminder in his head regarding why he should remember his duties and who he was devoted to. You'll be reprimanded even more. Don't worry, Percival. As well as our group managing to deal with the situation at the courthouse. You've won your case, but now it's a matter of figuring out what's going to follow from here. you were given an offer to speak with Sidney Gottlieb, the head of various both newspapers and other forms of media communication and such. And despite the very strong lingering tension between them, Percival held their own against Guillermina Delgado, a former, how shall we say, associate. Let's go with that. Let's go with the non-gay. Yes, individual, you'll be reprimanded even more. Yes. You can clip that if you'd like. But before we get into more of the emotions that everyone had when they revealed so many different feelings and had some moments of rejection and trying to comfort one another that both did and then didn't work, and people have now have manners of guilt, feeling down, feeling not angry or feeling angry or great, we're actually going to pull back just a bit to let the camera focus over on Olivia's situation. Olivia, in the midst of everything that had happened in the immediate aftermath of the houses collapsing in the tidal zone, you went off to take care of one of your friends who had been injured. As of now, I'm forgetting the name that we ended up giving said individual, but I'll pull that up in just a moment. But as of now, you are probably in his home, which is basically now like a couple of other people's homes who have just kind of now rooming with a few other people on one of the best, still stable homes in the area. And it looks as though that there are some other individuals who are around who could potentially be talked to, and that people are talking to in order to try and get sense of how to proceed in this. But right now, it's just a matter of talking to a bunch of different people. I think I actually did end up going with, I think it was Malik was your friend's name, who was the rather like impressively tall individual. I think I said they were like of giant kin size, and the dynamic between you is a small and a tall. But you are in one of Malik's friends' homes. There is the smell of it looks as though there's a stew of some kind that is being made. It smells of beans. That when you take a peek inside, as there is a nice pot on a sort of mini stovetop, looks as though there's things like spaghetti, chorizo, squash, onions, garlic, herbs, and various other spices. Very nice and rich, very much in the category of, we've been through some shit in the past couple of hours. Let's try and figure this out. But right now you're just in their home. What's going through Olivia's mind right now?
I think Olivia is, she has two parallel trains of thought running, or three. Can you say neurospicy? Three parallel trains of thought. One, I think, is just, how do I help? Like, who needs my help? What can I do? I think the second is sort of, how do we stop this from happening again? How do we stop more lives from being disrupted? And like the third is kind of just reckoning with the precarity of the situation at the community center. I mean, you know, like there are so many people who weren't here, but very easily could have been. And sort of just trying not to spiral into a, this could be me, this could be my world crashing down around me kind of situation.
You're having all of these thoughts, and I imagine, is it very apparent on Olivia's face that all of this, like, lost in the three-way intersection of thoughts happening all at once?
I believe it would be.
You would see that there is a very, very deep brown skin, like someone who's worked very reddish tones, like think very much someone who has worked a lot out in the sun, and the smell on them suggests that they're probably someone who's done fishing work of some kind. This individual, you would know them as Bilal, Bilal, and not particularly tall, about average height, just sort of comes to sit down. You see that there's hair that has been braided down into sort of three long braids that are all like hanging down on the right side, while the rest of it has been sort of tightly arranged close and cropped to the head. And you see, again, none of the folks here have particularly extravagant clothing, but folks do still seem to show the influences of their homelands and places that they came from in a lot of other ways. And you see that Bilal, he comes over and he has a bowl of stew. The pot looks a bit, the actual bowl itself seems a bit worn down, and has a variety of geometric shapes all along the side of it, but just sort of comes over and with a very gentle smile. Copper, for your thoughts?
So, from what I remembered from the first session, I think I know Bilal as well. And so I think I would just be like, just worried about you all, Bilal. And I mean, I can't say I haven't seen you all weather worse than this, or heard you tell me what you have weathered. But this kind of it's not, I can't even find words, Bilal. This is just so unnecessary as a thing that you or Malik or anyone should have to face.
Oh my dear, you're far too worried. It sort of sets the food down, and you also see is rushing over to it looks like there's a basket that's been set aside with a few bits of cloth covering it, and you see takes off the cloth and ends up pulling out it at first it looks almost like it's a croquette, so there's sort of like a oblong mass of potato, but sort of cracks it open. You see there's bits of spiced ground beef, onions, and bits of hard-boiled egg right in the center of it, and sort of just offers one half of it to you. Eat.
So I think Olivia would like reach her hands out, accept it, kind of look around to see if there's anybody else who might look like they need it more. And if there isn't, then would eat it and accept it as a token of welcome.
Yeah, I have to laugh because of the most recent chat comment regarding an oblong mass of potato being someone's prison name. But you would see that there are a variety of other individuals who are stressed, worried, or just sort of recovering from the shock of this. But I would say that there are two other individuals who appear to have arrived a short time ago and are making their way around everyone. One of them, who is about, I'd say, 5'10"-ish, kind of lanky brunette, has a very luxurious mustache, like very well maintained, and has fur seal, as they are a selkie. So they are a seal person. Who is talking very excitedly and very loudly to a bunch of different people. And you see sort of a bit right next to them, only about 5'2", though you wouldn't think it, because with the ears that she has about 4 or 5 additional inches just from the ears, is a bunny folk person who seems to be talking with everyone in a much slower pace, seems to be occasionally, for especially some of the smaller kids who've been a little bit scared actually doing their hair, is like very intricately working through focusing on their hair. And you would see that the two of them are going about just checking in with everybody and just seeing if the whole situation is going a bit better, or if there's any ways that they can make it better.
Do I know them?
I would say, given your connection to the lower ring in this community in particular, that yes, you would know the Selkie individual goes by the name of Finley, and you would know the bunny woman goes by the name of Angora. They are a lovely couple who, despite really only having a small business here in the lower ring that's sort of a mix between a translation site and a small cafe, they are kind of looked upon in a similar way to your group's community center, that they are a hub in which people who need food or need little bags of things to get them through the day will often come by and try and get some food. And occasionally some folks will do work for them, as Finley does tend to harvest kelp and seaweed, or especially around some of the more like chaotic regions where the tides are coming in. And you do actually see at one point Finley just sort of reaches into a bag, gets a whole live fish, and then just sort of chucks it up in the air and just goes. And you just see Angora just kind of put her head down and just sort of look over at her partner. As you can see, both of them do have rings on their wedding ring fingers.
So I guess I would, so has it been enough time after the events of the first episode that there would have been time for word to spread that something is happening and people need help?
Word spreads quickly anytime anything happens in the lower ring. This is only like the immediate aftermath, so like the hours afterwards, but like because of how big an event it was, and also because pretty much it's one of those things where while the city has tried to publicly claim the refugee crisis is being handled, there have been ongoing tensions, so that anytime anything happens with refugee populations, folks are paying attention, even if they're doing one of those, like, I see it, but I'm not going to talk about it kind of looks on the street.
Yeah.
It's very much that kind of phenomenon.
Okay. Basically, what I was trying to understand is if there was another, okay, I will just ask them. So I would go up to them and, say, hey, Finn, hey, Angie, do you have anything I can do to help and use for an extra set of hands?
You do see Angora is about to say something, and then Finley just sort of like steps in very suddenly. Well, I'll have to think about it for a moment. There's a large variety of fish things I need to get back to the center to take care of. There's a few particular things that I could go help give packages to. I really would love to help and spread a bit of cheer to some of the children and such, and I really would love to just talk with more people here. Tragedies are very difficult, but I really love getting to hang out with everyone. And you just see Angora in the midst of Finley's amping up and getting more and more excited, and Angora just sort of like, dear, I think they were asking in the immediate. It's like, oh, well, that's right. Well, if you'd like to help us come back to the cafe and sort of distribute some care packages, we've managed to take care of some of those. It's been very quick, but already very hard at work, and we've already had some people who have been volunteering to come and help.
Yes, of course. So do I know if so I know Malik is injured. Bilal seems okay to come and help, or?
Yes, if you at all have a look on your face of like, should I leave here? From a bed in the back of the area, you just hear, I'm not useless. I will be fine. Go do things. Go do whatever it is that you do whenever you're not bothering me. Ow. And just sort of sets his hand down.
No one No one's saying you're useless, at least not today. I call back to make him laugh. And yeah.
It's a
And
very
then
choked kind of laughter to that. Is it's like ooh, it hurts to laugh.
oh, no. Yeah, and then sort of if Bilal is free, I would just look towards him sort of plaintively, like, and like, I don't want to go, like, help me out here. Let's get stuff for people here.
You do see Bilal like has already, you did notice it while you were talking to Angora and Finley, but the bowl has already been moved into another container. All of the soup and the stew has already packaged it for you and has also added like a tiny little rolled up in cloth, an additional little food thing. It looks like it's a pair of shortbread sort of cookies that have been filled with dulce de leche and covered with a bit of powdered sugar. And it looks as though someone has tried to add, like, as he's coming over, is just like getting out a spoon and putting a bit of meringue on top of it. If it's not messy by the time it's eaten, I will know. Eat, go, do other things.
Okay, I will be back really soon, though. Really,
Like grabs both of your hands if that's okay for them to do. Dear, I understand worry. Worry is helpful. It spurs people to action. But do not let it become pity.
it's
Pity. I know. I know that's not your intent. But the more you stress and actively worry, some of us will read it that way. Like you pity not being able to do more. Pity is useless. Pity is selfish. Worry is fine, but do not let it consume you. All right?
So since Bilal is all calm, or at least is trying to be calm, like, I think Olivia would also try and like internalize the, not try, is automatically internalizing the calm, but is also picking up on some of the internal jitters that like he's keeping tamped down. So Olivia would be like, yes, you're right. Okay, I will go and help with the distribution of the care packages. I will be back as soon as I can to help if you need me to. It just kind of turns around and goes away.
Yes, and you do see that Finn if you head to the little cafe where Angora and Finley are, that Angora and Finley are heading to, a lot of the conversation is mostly taken over by Finley. Finley is a very talkative and very loud individual. It's also very scatterbrained. It's I don't need to explain this more than by saying big ADHD vibes. Big, like, we'll go on a thread and then the connection between these 6 different threads that follow from it don't really make sense to someone who is not used to that style. Although I, for whatever reason, hazard a guess that Olivia is very used to this kind of speaking style and conversation style.
Don't know what would make you say that. Seems so judgmental, but yes.
Finley and Angora, I will ask you this just as a courtesy and because I think it's worthwhile to check in about. Do you care to try and figure out either of them? There is a move where if you wanted to figure out a person, you could try and roll with it. I don't know whether Olivia's motivations and general nature would lead them to suspect anything foul or be interested in knowing more, but I thought I would offer the option. It is there.
So I don't think Olivia's nature, I mean, I think based on, because she's a dream mirror, I think she really goes on vibes quite a lot. So if she doesn't feel something that doesn't make sense in this scenario, I think she would not be suspicious.
Okay. You're able to go to that cafe, and it is a quaint little place, very much like the actual dining room area itself is it's at most the size of like a classroom and not even a particularly big one. The counter, it looks as though at one point it must have had a fresh coat of paint, but has not really seen a new one in a bit. And there is a strong smell of fish in this place, like an absurdly strong smell of fish. And you do happen to notice tucked behind the counter there is a bucket of still live fish that apparently have just come in, and that Finley just eyes with a look of pure greed and mischief, and immediately starts heading over with hands outstretched to start getting it. And you just see Angora just have a look of Finley, put it away first, please. Take whatever you're going to eat now, and then put it away for later. Like, well, frankly, I thought I was going to eat all of it right now. It's like, you're not eating all of it. We just ate. I'm still hungry. It's like, yes, you don't have to eat another. It's a lot of this kind of back and forth that suggests they have been together for a very long time. But you do see, even at this time, with no one having been in, that a couple of folks do occasionally stop by. And you see Angora just, in contrast to being around Finley, gets a little bit skittish. Like, at any given moment, you can, if you look down at her feet, she's doing the bunny rabbit thing, where it's just the thumper thing, where it's just going up and down repeatedly. You can tell she's like, here you go. And every time someone comes up, grabs something, and once they've turned away, she just turns to her side and goes, okay.
So I feel like Olivia would pick up on that, being Olivia. I think she would try to station herself between Finn and Angora and just sort of be like, because she needs some balance, and would turn to Angora and go, and I know it might seem like a strange question given everything we've seen today, and are you okay?
I worry enough for the both of us. Finley, and you do see Finley's in just chatting very merrily with a couple other folks who look as though they've just come in for and are talking about like the incident that just happened. Honestly, it's been a bit strained here with everything. Finances have been a bit rough, and we've been offering even more work for folks considering the recent influx we've had. And don't get me wrong, I don't regret any of it. I would happily drain all of my savings and everything that I own and have if it meant folks would be okay. But the strain is a lot, and the attention we've been getting here in the lower ring has not been positive.
Angora, I know you're not going to take this the wrong way, because we both know what it is to sort of like get overcome with Angora's skittishness and just sort of like shivers for a while, tries to shake it off, goes, we both know that this environment, it's Angora, you have to tell me. Please share your burden. It is, I know you're worried. I know you keep looking up and looking and seeing and being relieved that the people who are entering are not someone you don't want to see. What's going on? What kind of attention are you getting? Tell me. Can I help? I'm sure I can help.
It's Mr. Gottlieb has, for the most part, whether he's intended to or not, a lot of his recent writings in the news and such have painted us as a whole in a negative light. But the thing is, it's never written with directly saying that. It's always a lot of double talk. And that's been difficult. And frankly, I've been worried about a friend of mine. His name is Damascus. He was living. He was also living in the tidal zone, and been established here for quite some time. But he had something very strange happen the other evening. He came by rather late when we were about to close up, and he mentioned saying he kept saying something along the lines of, it's about to happen soon and then everything will boil over. But he seemed a bit on edge about it. And I couldn't really get him to calm down. He seemed to come, he had a drink, but then he left.
Out of character, would Olivia know Damascus?
It's not a familiar name. I mean, you don't necessarily know everybody in the lower ring and all of the tidal zone, but it is something where Angora would be able to give you like an address to go look into it.
Okay. So I guess with the promise that I will be back to help distribute some care packages, because that sounds like a lead, I would be like, I think I might need to go talk to this person. I get that he's your friend. I'm not looking for trouble. I just want answers. We will need answers if we're going to get anything to happen for everyone who lives here.
If you're going to go do anything, I'd suggest bringing whatever company you can. It might be best not to go alone at this point. And you see Finley sort of comes over at this point, and you see like gives this very gentle, just like head pat. And you see like all the skittishness that Angora had just sort of immediately melts away. And you see the ears just kind of like droop down just ever so slightly. And you see she just kind of like leans into Finley's like hand. And you see, there, dear. Perhaps I need to get you one of your favorite teas. She's like, that would be nice. That would be very nice. My apologies for the skittishness. I'm just worried about everybody. And Finley gives a reply of yes, and you also worry far too much. Here, come here, dear. And just sort of leads away. But you have a lead, and we can sort of jump forward in time to, you can be brought back up to speed with the rest of the party sort of coming back into, let's say, the next morning after all of the emotional revelations from the past session have kicked in. Like, let's just say like the night has finished with all of that, and then you've had time to just rest and come back into it.
I wonder if my compatriots have been through any emotional upheavals. Why would they have? Who can say? Let's find out in the new episode.
This was just the all of Porna's section was just the cold opening to this.
Yeah.
It's like theme music will start now. Yeah.
But so we come back to the next morning, and you hear the familiar voices of Macy and Aisha beginning to argue again over something. It's very difficult to tell what it is on this occasion, but you see that both of them appear to be struggling to try and fill up this massive container, this massive pot that it looks as though there is an absurd, we're talking ridiculous amount of poultry and various meats that are being shoved into various layers of dough. Like it'll be like meat, dough, meat, dough, meat, dough. And it is a massive container that this is being put in. And you just see, for the whole party is awake to see this escapade, sort of goes between the two of them. Macy is just sort of like, didn't I say it wasn't going to fit in the oven? It's like, you didn't say that. You just sort of implied it and said it passive aggressively. That's not the same thing as saying and communicating it. Well, the message was still clear. We put too much. It's like, well, somebody wanted to go and be a bit more ambitious. Well, excuse me for trying to put some effort into what we do. And it's just the two of them just fighting with each other about this fucking massive dish that they've made. For anyone curious, the dish is Bastia. It is a Moroccan dish.
Sounds delicious.
It's pretty goddamn good from all the things I've seen. But
I'm sitting on a counter in the kitchen watching all of this with my little feeties kicking beneath me, just eating bread.
Sort of appearing out of nowhere, like just straight up instant transmission behind you, Daisy. You just hear Macy with like a wooden spoon just sort of like hit her hand. Is that your breakfast?
It's my pre-breakfast.
Good.
I still have so much room in this bad boy ready for breakfast. Don't you worry.
We'll have to go cheaper with breakfast today. We may have been a bit enthusiastic. At least somebody was enthusiastic with what we did. Weren't you the one who was pushing us to put more in this? The point still stands.
I think it looks like the exactly appropriate amount.
Thank you. Somebody believes in me here.
So much.
You do see that shortly thereafter, there's a few different plates that are set aside. It looks like there are strips of beef that have been served with caramelized onions and fried potatoes of some kind, but like French fry kind of like style potatoes. And it looks as though there's been little bits of sausage that have also been cut into like small pieces mixed around. And then there are fried eggs. And then there was also what looks like there's a nice dough made with potatoes and flour that Aisha has brought out, a kind of metal cylinder in which the dough has been wrapped around, has been cooking right next to the table, and then once it's finished, like plops it down. Looks as though there's bits of jam, bit of other little things, but the party has breakfast.
Hi, Olivia. For Purna's sake, Daisy currently likes, and Olivia likely recognizes this persona. They use it fairly often. Short, about 5 foot maybe, just under, blue tiefling, he him pronouns, with a shock of white hair and blue horns, and bright yellow eyes, and tends to wear like white yellow clothes, and never seems to stop eating.
Yeah, I think after helping out in the title zone, I think Olivia's pretty famished as well, so she's like going for breakfast. Going, hey, like notices, yeah. I was like, any what did how is Tricks?
I see what you did. Tricks are fine. We made a little bit of a plan yesterday, didn't we? And kind of indicates to both people feeling just in general awkward around them at the moment. Yeah, we have to go and investigate a few things, I think. Find some leads. Investigate some things.
Are you sitting like close to Olivia?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like sidle up, put like an elbow on your shoulder and go like, is it just me or things? I don't know. A little bit awkward this morning.
Yeah. I would say that is a good estimation.
And then you see Olivia's eyes widen a little bit as she feels the frisson of discomfort that you're feeling and goes,
Yeah. It's not common that you feel discomfort off of Daisy, I will say that much.
I think at this point, Sister Solana is not like currently at the table. I've bustled in like just moments earlier, probably like laden with shopping. And given someone who's like usually quite stoic and impassive, I've spent the last few days with quite a lot of nervous energy. But I've gone straight to Macy. Macy, have you got yeast? I can't. There's a shortage of yeast at the market, and I'm doing my mum's shopping. She doesn't want anything, obviously, but then whenever I get there, there's always like 100 things that I need to. You don't want to be my mum, do you? Yeah, the hours are good. One afternoon a week.
Do I look like I'm old enough to be your mother?
No, I didn't think so.
Don't answer that question.
And then I think I turn round and see Olivia, and for no reason whatsoever, just suddenly look like a rabbit in headlights. Olivia's back. And I look at Daisy and Titrangada and look, Olivia's here. Olivia's, your hair looks really lovely. Have you done something to your hair? Not that your hair doesn't always look lovely. Olivia's here, everyone.
Wow.
Yes. Hi. Solana. Looking as fresh as ever. Would you join us for some bread? I believe there's some yeast in there, isn't there? Looks at Macy.
Sure. Yeah, I can't have bread, but what else is that? I'll have
You
some
can't have
There's
bread.
so much.
What is it your faith offers you exactly? You just see Macy just putting up her hands and walking away. Can't have bread.
I can describe the bread to you if you want.
Bread is a staple food, and it's for the people in the house. Oh, look, I can't get into this now. I'll have some of those beef things that look really nice.
So, Olivia sort of like won't really notice, aside from the fact that you look a little bit frazzled, won't really notice anything else because it's concentrating on what Daisy's feeling. So it's gonna go, but I mean, okay, like if you can't have bread, what can you have? Sort of like reaching forward and like taking things from super close to you, but just like, what can you have?
Any of the rest is fine. That's
Just
give me.
Would you both like me to get a plate for both of you? Chitrangada is just going to leave the situation now. Just
I haven't even gotten to you yet.
No, it's just hi Olivia. Can I no, because Chitrangada is just like there's too much happening and I'm just shutting down. The Chitrangada is just full on robot shutdown moment right now.
I'm looking at Chitra just going.
No. So
Chitrangada is not
avoiding
your eyes. Is not looking at Zolana very specifically.
Look, we're all literally avoiding each other's eyes. It's fine. You're not alone.
Like Olivia's just looking at all of you like weird. We were all on the same side yesterday. Okay. Anyway, Chitra, wait. I have a thing I need to, because I was at the title zone yesterday and I have a lead that I need to talk to you about. So maybe let's just grab some stuff on our plates and go like to another corner of this room. Yeah.
Of course. Important matters first. Would you like to come with me? We can discuss on the way, or do you want to sit down in a private location and then discuss this?
I mean, given the sensitivity of the issue, I think. Although, why would we let anyone in here who isn't an ally? Doesn't matter.
Come on, everyone, private
good.
booth, and I pick up my plate and just start waddling over to the private booth with a little spring in my step, tails swishing behind me.
Dragging shopping baskets and things.
Yeah.
Do you want some help, Solana? You've
Hmm?
got a lot of bags. Do you want some help?
No, I'm fine.
Uh,
This is good. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. Mhm.
are you sure, sister?
I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, I've got to carry it all to my mother's anyway, so there'd be no point in you just taking it to the booth. It's fine. I've got it. Look, I've got this already. And I just like
If you
leave it on.
if you would
Got
uh
it done. Look, it's
like
here. It's
it,
down.
if you would like it, we can help you take things to your mother's place. There's, I'm sure a detour is not going to make things that much worse than they already are.
Okay, we'll work first. Let's see what this lead is.
As you wish.
Stacey's plate is almost gone already.
Yeah, so I turned to Chitra and I'm just like, make it worse than, you know what? I feel like there's some stuff I need to know as well, some leads perhaps. But either way, the thing that I found out is essentially I was helping out in the title zone. Yes, we're all sat down. And before we're all sat down, I like just jump into it. And I'm like, okay, so I was speaking to people yesterday. Do you guys know Angora and Finley? It's like a Selkie thing. You
Yeah.
must have seen them. Yeah. So they were distributing care packages and stuff and helping out, and so I went with them to pick up some care packages to distribute as well. And Angora seemed really kind of nervous about something and was kind of like kept kind of flinching whenever someone came into the room, and then like, why are you all so full of nervous energy? I can feel it in my bones. Anyway, doesn't matter. What about me is making you nervous? Are you making each other nervous? What is going on?
I'm fine. There's nothing.
I was just hungry. I'm fine.
I
Then.
always
My
get
belly's
like this
full.
when I have to go to my
Everything.
mother. It's
Daisy and Zolana have it handled. I have no issue. I'm sure they've discussed this with each other. It's fine.
Discuss what?
Whatever that needs to be discussed. We were discussing a plan of attack as such,
Yeah.
that.
Of course.
Oh.
I have a potential for going to get some dirt on Gottlieb, I think.
Right.
If we want dirt on him.
Surely that's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think, wouldn't you? But
I trust my lead.
And if you have any issues, Daisy, anyway, I am also going to have to speak to Mr. Gottlieb as well. So at least my name should still give me access. We shall see how that goes, though.
Do you want to get the dirt on him before you go in, or do this all at the same time?
I think you should dig up dirt.
I have to go up to the upstairs, if you will, to get my dirt.
Okay, well, I have to go to my mother's, so no.
I mean, I could go with you, Zolana, if you want. But wait, hang on.
No, that'd be great.
Okay, sure. I wasn't sure because you seemed a little. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I wanted to tell you that there's someone who came in, a Damascus, if you've heard that name being bandied about, and if you go and hear it later today, who apparently came into the cafe where that Finn and Angora have, and he was like saying that something was going to happen soon, and seemed to know a bit more about the situation than a person who is completely innocent should. And so she gave me an address. Maybe a couple of us can go and check it out, at least a couple of us. She seemed to imply that, or Finn seemed to imply that probably not the best for me to go alone, and Finn is a very, very tall specimen of a specimen, so it seems wise to.
Would you like me to accompany you? I'm tall-ish, and usually people do tend to be slightly more intimidated by the notion of legal action.
Yeah, plus you've got the whole.
It's definitely the legal action.
Yeah, not the terrifying teeth. Yes, I think that's a good call for sure. I'm just wondering when we're going to do all of this. What's the order of play?
May I ask the game master a quick question? given that so many refugees come through the chapel, would Damascus be a name that I'd have heard bandied about? Is there something I could roll?
That is a good question. I would say yes. Damascus is a longstanding resident of the tidal zone and has been someone who has not had a particularly easy life, but has managed to create his own little home in the lower ring. And there were opportunities offered to him throughout his life to have the chance to move up, but you would have probably heard he seemed to have a strong faith in the loving guardian, and that he always seemed to take to heart the notion that like we should not live with a means that mocks the plight of others. And he never seemed that interested in a lot of material things. Nor was he ever particularly skittish or quick to panic. So the notion of him coming in anywhere and being a bit like not of grounded mind is a bit worrying, to be honest.
Olivia, I'd like to come and check out Damascus with you. So maybe we could go there via my mother's, perhaps. But Daisy, I think it's a really good idea for you to get the dirt on Gottlieb before we take this much further. Sorry, Olivia.
So when Zalana says this, Olivia is just gonna start like gathering up her plate and stuff, not looking at Zalana, so might not notice any facial expressions that might happen, but like sort of gathering her stuff, just goes, "It's a date."
Okay, great. Zalana's not in a tears now. I'm going to pick up my shopping baskets. And I'm not going to be completely obsessing over that line.
Straight up dizzy condition from a fighting game just happened in the most gay way possible. Now, given all these conversations, I will, the means of corralling and making sure I have a sense of how things are going to progress. What is your first priority? Like, where are you going first, and who is going? And then where are you going to go from there? Is this going to be a split the party situation? Is everybody going to go to follow up on Daisy's lead for possible dirt? What is this going to be? Like, what does this look like in terms of party arrangement?
I think Daisy was originally going to be like, I mean, we could all meet and like do the Damascus thing together as a team. But hearing that is just like, all right, I'm just going to go up and deal with my stuff. I'll report to you guys later.
Oh, don't feel, yeah, okay.
No, it's cool. It's fine. I can go and handle my stuff. It shouldn't take too long. Well, it depends. I might get a little tied up, so.
Let me know if you, or at least let the sister know if you require any assistance, or if you require any name dropping, I will, or any kind of terminology, anything. I'm sure you can contact me for that.
Yeah. Where I'm going, I should probably be on my own, so.
So shall the three of us go to Damascus, Daisy go to the upper ring, and then, so we need a place to arrange to meet back here at the community center in the afternoon, evening, late at night. How tied up are you
going? Remains to be seen.
Pardon me, I'm so sorry, Olivia. I would prefer that we meet up in the evenings. I have another appointment. I would like to make and keep. I've at my old office. But yeah. But I shall meet you. I think we intended to meet at the theater, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
The theatre.
The
Yeah.
I don't
theater?
know if I don't know if I can do the theatre again. I've taken so much time off work. I don't think that would be a good idea. All of us go,
You,
you mean?
yes, all of us. Do you? I mean, if you would like to go, if you don't want me to come, it's fine.
No. I do want you to come. I just thought I probably shouldn't. I've got duties but no, if we're all going, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Theatre this evening. Perfect.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
do you have something theater appropriate to wear?
What's wrong with my armor?
I mean, well, usually the theater is a fairly non-war esque situation. More often than not, it's more fancy ball gown than knight in shining armor kind of thing.
Oh,
But you
okay,
can
that
wear
Zalana,
makes
what you
sense.
like.
Zalana, just think more emotional armor, less actual armor.
Okay, I, I can put my vestments on. They're like a robe. That's what I wore last time. It's fine.
Um, I can get you something. Your have your measurements changed from the last time
Huge?
we?
No, still huge.
Okay. I can go and get something for you. I remember your favorite colors. Um,
Red,
you
white.
told me. Like, yeah. Yeah. I'll go and get something for you. It's not an issue. You can change. We can change on the go. You know, have I do have a lot of, you have to use the filthy money somewhere.
I'll see you guys tonight, maybe. And DC just kind of gets up and wanders off, puts the plate away in the kitchen because they're not a monster, and walks off.
Salon does that
Daisy,
sort of.
how will we know if you need a how?
It's
Well, is
fine.
there
I'll catch. It's fine.
Bat signal.
apparently everything's fine? Okay. Well, Chitra, do you want us all to stick together? We could. I mean, also because you mentioned that, you know, needing the legal heft or
Yes.
something.
Yes. I think since you are more closely connected with the lower ring, I think it would be best if I serve more as intimidating figure and we can have the conversation you want with Damascus. I think both me and the sister should be fairly good back henchmen. Well, not henchmen particularly. Essentially, we should just be very good presence. We should be a good presence for us to get the answers that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Anything we can do to help whatever it is you're doing at your old workplace?
Why are you
I'm
back at your old workplace?
Oh, I thought that was clear. I guess it's not. Sure. Why are you back at your old workplace?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for me.
I'm I'm not back at my old workplace, so that would be a fairly long process, believe me. I've done both sides of it.
Made a
I,
terrible mistake.
I
Solana.
would I would like to go back there because I may have a conversation I would like to have with with the council of the last case. We have
Just be
some
careful.
things. Gay Mina is a lot of things. Violence was never quite her thing.
Not the
I know how to.
violence I'm worried about.
What are you worried
This,
about? What is she worried about?
Her getting in his head. She's a snake.
Snakes are
Good at getting
Snake-like.
ahead.
Well, this is a snake I'm fairly used to getting bitten by. It's not exactly like the venom is going to affect me any more than it already has. It's fine. I know how I'm a different sister, like Chitrangadar breathes and looks Zolana straight in the eye for the first time in a bit. Sister, I I sometimes feel that you don't quite understand the kind of person I am. May not belong, I may not work there anymore, but that doesn't mean that I am not its child anymore. I am still very much the person who worked and was successful there. I know how to
Take it
handle
back.
myself.
I trust you. I just, I worry about you. Just be careful.
I understand and I appreciate the concern. However, well, all I will say is I appreciate your concern and anything you see me or hear me say there, please note that I'm not the same person, or at least I'm trying not to be. That's
I know.
that's that's all I needed to say.
So we're all going to Damascus?
I guess we're all going to Damascus.
I just
Yeah.
stop past Maisie, with the baskets as I'm leaving. Maisie, if someone says, how would you read this? If someone says it's a date and then they invite someone else, what is that?
Zolana, do you want us to take any of the baskets or? Oh, sorry, you're talking to Maisie. I'm so sorry.
No, I'll see you later, Maisie. Thanks. Yeah, okay, you can carry one basket each. Little one. Let's go.
Olivia's hand brushes past Zolana's as she takes a basket.
I really feel like a peach.
I'm so sad there isn't a move I can make you roll right here because you're already
Eat fruit.
smitten. Also, I just want to note for the record, this entire past 15 minutes of conversation has been worse than watching two people who've had sex try and talk about it the next morning. They're like, so that happened. It's like, yeah, that happened. So how do we feel about this? Do we want to keep going with? I mean, it was fun. I mean, I was really fun. That's what you all coming off as. Olivia's just here, just being like the roommate who showed up. Hey, how's it going? How's everything going with everybody?
Yeah.
We're just one hot gay mess.
It's about to get gayer and hotter. So the main part of the group is heading over towards the lower ring in order to interact with Damascus. Or are you doing the office first? Just a quick clarity on that. Office or Damascus?
All three of us are going to go and see Damascus first. We're going to drop the shopping off at my mother's. And then Chitrangada is going to go.
I'm going to go to my old law office to talk to my associate.
Quick question. We're going to your mother's first, right? Because it feels like, why are we carrying all this stuff?
Ooh, is that an in-character question?
We are we are literally
yes, it is.
Via my mother's. I'll be 2 minutes. Don't come in. It's not worth it.
You want us to meet your mom?
She'll be busy. No, we're busy. We're busy. That's the excuse. Yeah.
We are
We are
busy,
busy.
Zolana. Are you feeling okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay. Here you go. Here's the basket.
Hot today. Okay. Here we go, Mum.
You make the venture up.
Okay, so Olivia and I are separate, right? In this case, or have we followed Solana here?
We followed Solana.
Both of you are there.
We're both
three
there.
of you have gone to deliver the food because it will be very quick because it's groceries.
Yes.
Then you're going to Damascus. For fuck's sake, people, the itinerary is not that hard to figure out.
Thank you.
Christ.
my logistical is bad.
You have a moment alone with Olivia because I am taking the shopping to my mother.
Yes,
Yes,
that's what I
there you
wanted to
go.
know. That's
There
what I
you
wanted to
go.
know.
Olivia rounds on Chitrangada. It's like, Chitra,
Hmm?
what was that? Why are you being weird? Okay, let me clarify. It's not just you that's being weird. All of you are being weird. What happened?
Honestly, I didn't see Zolana and Daisy being weird. They were just, I think the awkwardness is mostly my presence, if I'm thinking correctly.
That's great moment of self-reflection. What happened? The things that happened to make everyone awkward. You, them, everybody. Hey, you know what? It's fine. Game master, I would like to roll to figure a person out, please.
Here we go. Here's the roll I was looking for. So yes, you may roll plus a wit. And
brings you PvP.
So that's 3d6, right? Am I losing my mind?
No, it's 2d6.
2d6.
2d6
okay.
luck. 2d6. So 2d6 plus your wit.
Yes. Okay. That's 9.
9. You may ask 2 questions from the following list, but they may ask you 1.
Mhm.
So, what are your feelings towards blank? What do you hope to get from blank? How could I get you to blank? What do you love most? And how would you feel if I blank? So you can ask 2 of those to Chitra, and Chitra can ask 1 in return. The obvious one is what are your feelings towards Zolana?
What are your feelings towards Zolana? Do I ask them together or separately?
You can ask them separately. You can get the first one, and then from that question, from that answer, you can figure out what your next question is going to be. I think that's a fair way to play it. And Chitra, you will get to ask one after all this is done. But Chitra, what are your feelings towards Zolana? What is, if not you saying out loud, what is Olivia very clearly picking up? Because Olivia, I will say, is the most inclined to understand other people's emotions. What are they reading off of you?
Sheer want and guilt. Not that much guilt. The guilt's been a little tempered, but this is just ever present. I want to tell her something, but I can't, and I don't know how to. And also, I want to know her. I want her, and as a friend, as a whatever, she's willing to have me in her life. Just being near her is good enough at this point.
More wholesome than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, when you started with want, I was like, ooh, but no. Question. So this stuff is stuff that, like, so in game, he's told me this, or like,
if he hasn't told you, this is the sense that you're reading. You're reading a sense that you're at least being able to pick up a sense of, like, if Chitra is doing usual, it's like, no, I don't want anything to think her. There's nothing wrong. I'm not thinking about her. Like is doing the usual. I'll put it this way: is doing gay panic word vomit. Is like, no, I'm not thinking about her at all. It's not like I want her or anything. Like doing those kinds of things is if you want a vocalization of what you're picking up on, vibe-wise, you're also getting that. It's a look of, like, I wish she'd pay attention to me, which you can interpret as you wish. But you have one more question you may ask, and then Chitra, decide what question you are going to ask in return.
Okay. What the I'm trying to remember the exact versions of the things. Sorry, could you mind repeating the questions?
Course. So you've already asked, what are your feelings towards blank? The other ones you have available are, what do you hope to get from blank? How could I get you to blank?
Hmm.
What do you love most, and how would you feel if I blank?
What can I do or say to get you to trust me?
Ooh, that's a good question, Chitra.
Typical 2-minute conversation outside someone's house, someone's mother's house.
Oh, it's not 2 minutes. Zolana wants it to be 2 minutes. There is. I have something for Zolana in this scene. Don't worry.
I I don't know how to quantify trust in this case. I don't know if it's a. I trust Stacy because, well, he's helped me out a lot, and I trust him as much as he's willing to trust me, which I've realized is not as far as I thought. With Zolana, it's honestly that's more me. That I'm honestly projecting onto the situation more than I've gotten anything back, apart from simple kindness and some version of friendship. I think with you, Olivia, I just don't know how to categorize you in many ways because you seem to be so many things for everyone. You try to be so many things for me. I don't, I can't put you in a box. It's not a restrictive box. It's just a way of how I think about you, and I can't do that because you're not willing to stay in one because you keep shifting, you keep changing, which I understand. I understand who you are. I understand you as a, or at least I'm getting you on some ways, but I don't know. I think, I think once I understand your version of relating or empathizing with people, the way you are, I think it'll come eventually.
So you see that this really touches a nerve with Olivia because like knowing herself is so hard. And so when you're like, I can't figure you out, I'm like, not not everyone needs to everyone needs to fit into every form you have. Okay, I'm not people aren't just legal forms where you can just tick a box and figure them out. Sometimes people have trouble with those forms themselves. Okay, you don't need to put me in a box to trust me. You've seen who I am. You've seen what I wouldn't do. Isn't that important?
It is. I think, honestly, Olivia, this is a lot of it has to do with my own issue. I've always found it difficult to relate to people all my life, not just because of, me, of not being, of being raised one way, being a shifter. It's, I'm going to try and understand you better.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
that's my promise.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't need to understand me to trust me. You don't need to be able to predict what I'm going to do next. You just need to be able to predict what I would never do. and I wouldn't hurt you, and I wouldn't hurt I wouldn't hurt Zolana, I wouldn't hurt Daisy, I wouldn't hurt Macy, I wouldn't hurt any of my friends.
I guess that's the thing I find difficult, because, well, that's never stopped me before. So I guess I just have difficulty in understanding the extent of morality sometimes from anyone, in fact, because I've seen people break those rules again and again if it will preserve themselves, preserve their status, their money, their pride. I don't think you're like that, Olivia. Honest, I can predict that you're not like that. You are a genuinely kind person that I've met, and I've realized more and more that kindness is not quantitative. It is something that is just inherent, and it is always actionable, and I'm understanding that. And I guess I trust you on that. I trust that you're kind.
You just don't trust that I'm not corruptible?
I barely trust it. That's kind of the whole reason why I worship Cephas in the first place. I'm a worshipper of the defiler, Olivia. Expecting corruption, even encouraging it in some ways, is something that's a part of my dogma. It doesn't necessarily mean corruption is. I think expecting corruption, expecting change is something I've always believed. So I think that's one other thing I'll need to deal with, that maybe I should trust you being flexible rather than you being corruptible. I think that's something I need. This is honestly not a you thing, Olivia. This is just is that when you see the bad of humanity coming through your office every day for 5 years, it kind of screws you up a little bit. And yeah.
You see that Olivia doesn't look entirely convinced, but doesn't say anything.
It is at about this moment, Sister Solana, you are coming back, but there's been
I had one question.
You did have a question. I was going to get to that. Hold on, don't worry. Sister Solana, it's about at this moment that you have had a much longer conversation with your mother than probably you would have liked to.
Okay.
Is that her? Is that the girl who was in your... they're coming through the door and she's trying to do the thing of hey, who's that?
Yeah, I'm doing I'm sort of bustling in hi mother, Sophia's blessings on you, and she's just looking straight out.
It's what's that?
What do you mean her? Looks like who?
The one who was in that picture you were keeping away from me. Have you brought it over for dinner?
Do you think? No. Do you think they look similar? Yeah, I suppose I can see what you. No, it's not the same person.
Why don't I introduce myself to her? I'm sure your friends would be very kind to would be excited to get to know me.
They look like, I think they're having. Actually, they really do look like they're having. I'll bring them around next week. What do we say? Oh, by the way, mother, there's no yeast. The market's out of yeast.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Are you sure you can't pray to bring more of it to have it suddenly sprout up?
It's not funny. I don't know how I'm going to bake bread for the refugees tomorrow. Look, let me help you put this away quickly. Come over here, mother. Come this way. I don't know why you're staring.
There's probably in the middle of that very emotional conversation, you do see a face with an eye just sort of creeping over. It's then immediately being yanked away. It's like, why are you yanking your mother?
It's just like wiping away tears, going,
Who the fuck is that?
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
I will say, this is Lana. You do hear your mother say at a volume that's probably a bit louder than you would have liked. She's definitely the girl you have a picture of in your room. That is loud enough for Olivia to hear.
My mother, folks.
Moms are great, especially when they don't understand emotional boundaries whatsoever. She carries. You were able to finish your little thing and get out quickly. Chitra,
Yeah.
as a last little closing to this moment, as we're going to take a detour to see Daisy's situation. Chitra, what is your question? This is less a conversation being had, and this is just for Olivia to answer, maybe just very succinctly. What is your question, Chitra?
How can I get you to understand how Zolana feels about you?
I feel like Solana's mother probably took care of that just now. Uh as all the best stories go. How can I guess because one of the things that because Chitra is so closed off and Olivia feeds off other people's vibes, I think Chitra would just Olivia would be just would realize that there's something that you're trying to say but you can't say. Like So and I think you would get the sense, at least if Olivia heard, then I feel like Chitra also probably heard, right? Yeah. So I feel
Yeah,
like if
that
both
in fact confirmed for Chitrangada what already she'd seen on Zolana's face when Olivia came in.
Half the lower circle heard, mother.
so I feel like at that point Chitrangada would not be worried about how can I get you to realize how Zolana feels about you. Problem solved.
Oh, that, right.
That. So we move over from this group to a much more opulent area in the upper ring. It is a street that is, in contrast to the lower and even the middle ring, well maintained. This is what it's like when a country has a government that cares about its infrastructure. Imagine that. For people in the US, it's impossible. We don't understand what that means. If any of you have any experience with that, please let me know, because I would like to know what that's like. But basically, the types of clothing, way more colors, the fabrics that are used, much more extravagant, and to an extent, a little bit more wasteful. Buildings here, much more well maintained. And it is outside one of these buildings that seems like it seems more like a house on the outside than anything else. Daisy, what do you look like on this occasion?
After taking a moment, getting up to this upper ring and just sitting on a wall, looking out at the rest of the city and contemplating a few things, they scowl and just sort of turn around, move into a space that's sheltered from others, and will turn into an equally petite frame to Daisy, but a much more femme body. Is wearing actually simple black attire, that's figure hugging but has a demureness to it, actually, in a way, and a slight, just a thin band of metal around their neck with a little bell that hangs off of it. Bobbed black hair with just like little streak of color. A color that they know a certain somebody always liked, so it just stuck with this form. And they're walking along with boots that are they're ankle boots, but not the clunky kind. It's still femme, and a little it's not really a spring in the step. It's like you're trying to put a spring in your step and you're trying to like shift into a different headspace. They struggle a little bit, but by the time they get outside this building and look up at it, they take a deep breath and sigh and just let their mind as well as their form change to what it needs to be before they step inside.
As you enter, a curious sight. It looks as though there is a small waiting area here. There's a main desk where there is a rather skittish-looking pixie at the front desk, fluttering about with wings. And you on occasion hear the noises of people quite involved in acts of pleasure and enjoyment and entertainment. It's not very loud, but it's audible enough that it's noticeable. You see that there is actually a pair of people on each side of the main doorway who are purposely positioned, a couple of them almost like footstools. Two of them are positioned like chairs. And you see the pixie says, "Oh, hello there, lovely. It's absolutely good to have you here and have you returning. The mistress will be with you in but a moment. I gather that you are also here for an occasion of some entertainment and fun."
Yeah. Always when I'm here.
Well, you look absolutely lovely.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Her name is Deirdre.
Deirdre.
For your benefit. And sorry.
No, it's fine. I think some of the staff here will know would know her by the name Nettie. Her name is Nanette, but Nettie. Those that are permitted to call her Nettie.
Those who are permitted to look upon my grace.
Well, permitted to by the person who's in charge. So when
yes.
she tells people they can call her Nettie, then they're allowed.
Yes, and you do hear in contrast, so you do hear the two individuals who are acting as footstools. It's like, may we be allowed to move yet? And you see, in contrast to the very skittish tone that Deirdre had with talking with you, you see her take this very assertive tone and saying, "You do not move until I tell you that you can move." Do we have that clear? It's like, "Yes, ma'am." And both of them immediately again prostrate as footstools once again. It appears to be just a pair of random humans. Now,
Nettie smiles a little to herself, but stays quiet.
I have a rather important question I must ask of you, Daisy. Or rather, Nettie. Who is most on your mind right now?
Solana.
As you sit in one of the actual chairs that are here, although were you to sit in one of the other people who are acting as chairs, they say nothing. They have no complaint. Almost as if they've been commanded to not give any sort of response whatsoever.
She wouldn't do that unless told to, so she'll sit on a regular seat.
As you turn to look, coming down the hallway, you see in an almost radiant and bright red dress, hair long, shining, Solana appears to just walk into the room.
In my head a little. Can I try to see if I can figure out if that's real?
Yes.
Daisy feels skeptical.
Yes. You may figure out a person.
Okay.
She would like.
Yeah.
Which is plus wits.
Oh, where's this character sheet? What will I be adding to this?
Wits.
Wits.
I believe
I have the
it's the one
challenge
you
of
are actually.
Yeah. I don't have my glasses on and I now have swoopy hair in front of my eyes, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. Ooh,
Chosen
that's
well.
some good numbers. That's a 12.
That is a 12.
Hmm.
So for this individual, you may ask among the same following questions. And then after we ask these questions and get your answers, we'll be moving to break, folks, just to give you a heads up. But I wanted to leave in a nice little spicy moment for folks. Nettie, you have the following questions you can ask. What are your feelings towards blank? What do you hope to get from blank? How could I get you to blank? What do you love most? How would you feel if I blank?
See, I don't know what to. What's what they're trying to find out. Remind me the questions again.
Yes, of course. Questions are, what are your feelings towards blank? What do you hope to get from blank? How could I get you to blank? What do you love most? And how would you feel if I blank? If you cannot come up with any that feel appropriate now, we can use them later in the scene and treat it as you have 2 questions stockpiled for this person.
Okay. I'm gonna ask one just to know. Because I'm curious to see with what Nettie's trying to find out what the answer is, and that's what is your feelings towards me?
Oh.
Because I feel like that could be quite enlightening with what.
So I'll answer it with pizzazz and a bit of blustering as well. This individual comes up closer to you, not enough to invade your space, but it is as if being in their presence, you feel flush. You feel a sense of warmth just course through your body. And you sort of watch as they embody however you see Zolana in her best and most enticing way. She embodies for you in that moment. Whatever it is that you want to have with Zolana, her form mirrors that.
And can I take from that how this person feels about me? Or is it just their wish to be doing this?
As they move close to you, you watch as a pair of bright red, leathery, almost bat-like wings emerge from her back. A return guest. My apologies. I'm having a bit of fun with my food before I potentially play with it. And you watch her hand just go over her face. You see a very beautiful being. It's really hard to pin down gender. There's maybe at most a like femme of center lean to it, but just as easily the body and all the features move across genders and beyond them. It's almost as if at any given point where there might be something definitive, the features are filled in by what you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe a bust, there's not a bust. There's maybe broad shoulders, there's not broad shoulders. Strong cheekbones, there's no strong cheekbones. Strong jaw, there's no strong jaw. It just keeps flittering back and forth. But the individual that just walks up to you and says, "Welcome back to the House of Pleasure. My name is Aldia Rosencruz. I am the mistress of this little home of ours. And I gather you have an appointment with a dear friend."
I do.
Mm.
It is an honor to be back.
I must say, you have quite a lot going on in that mind of yours.
Mm.
Let us see if we can help with that.
I would appreciate it.
And as you're being led down the corridor, down the hallway rather, that is where we are going to take a pause. I'm going to go to our break, folks, for about 5 to 10 minutes. So as we have entered what is known as the House of Pleasure with Nettie, we'll be seeing you all shortly. Much love to you all, and we'll see you very soon, lovelies. Don't miss out. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the second half of our session here on Horde of Tales of the Severed City. Session 3, Emerge with Pleasure. We have had just a nice little fun moment of titillation. That word was chosen intentionally for Daisy, as Z has encountered what appears to be the proprietor of the House of Pleasure that he is currently frequenting.
Mm-hmm.
An owner by the name of Aldia Rosencruz, who Daisy would now be able to tell is very much a succubus.
Yeah.
It's very much someone who is inclined to, whether intentionally or not, reveal the interests of those who look upon her. But as she's leading you over down the hallway, you would hear her going through a list of things. Now, I have to go through the standard procedures with you, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Now, would you like your room to have a silence enchantment put upon the door so that no sounds are able to emanate out? Or would
Yes,
you like to be
please.
heard?
Do not want to be heard.
Very well.
Not this time.
Would you like... Oh, you tease. Would you like for others to be able to see you in the midst of your activities?
Not this time.
Mm-hmm. Would you like us to remove any sort of illusory magic that is currently in place in the room? I will stress these are normally safety precautions we do to ensure people are who they say they are, but these will not automatically be put into place unless opted into for those for whom there are a natural illusory capacity. Once again, this is a matter of safety to ensure consent is always being had and all parties are operating under the same information.
I think the one I'm here to meet already knows my nature. But I would like to keep the illusion.
Of course. And normally some of our guests bring these anyways, but would you like me to provide for you any sort of towels, lube, any sort of protection you may need? We have various charms and enchantments required that we often have on hand. And we have additional reading and viewing material should you desire that as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that will be up to her.
Yes. Do I have that right? Is Blackthorn, Black Rose, whatever? I lose track of names on occasion. Cordelia.
Cordelia, yes.
Should you require any additional devices and such, they will be fully stocked, fully powered, and fully at your disposal as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Your attention to detail is admirable, as always.
We do our best. We try and ensure that you will always feel safe here, and should there be any sort of complaint and such, bring it up to Deirdre, and I'll be certain to handle it post-haste.
Thank you.
May pleasure ever emerge from the joys of your rapturous communication, my love.
Thank you.
You walk in, and you see that there are positions, there are essentially like cuffed positions that one can be positioned in on different spots along the walls. There's a couple of bars, there's a swing. There are various tools and implements of a hitting nature of various intensities, but sitting down very comfortably is someone who you've met on many different occasions for conversation and for lessons in obedience. She is above average height, draconic sort of appearance, in that there are on some spots on her face, across her forehead, and where her arms and legs showing, you would see that there are scales going up and down her body, to an extent like Gottlieb, but a little bit more flagrant in some of the aspects, in that there is almost like a pair of fins, of scaled fins on the side of her face that sort of help frame it's a face full of wit, of sharp observation, and her hair does quite a lot, as there is sort of a shaved pattern along the right side of it, and with the rest of it growing a bit out and curved. She appears dressed modestly for the ring that you're in, and given the various interactions you've had with people of all persuasions, you can see that there is hints of some sort of leather armor underneath. And you see that there is a book open that at second glance is probably closer to a journal that she's writing in. You walk in. Hello, my little pet.
Mistress. And I'll walk in about halfway into the room and give a little curtsy and bow my head. And just a deep sigh to just let everything that's going on just melt away for a moment.
My, you seem a bit tense, my dear.
I do carry some tension, yes.
How may I best instruct you today? What would you like?
At some point, I would like us to have a conversation. I need some information. But I could do with taking my mind off of some things.
Of course. You wish for pain to be your instruction, or for sweetness to be your affirmation?
I find one followed by the other tends to be most favorable.
Now I must ask you what I always do. So it slowly walks over, and you see she is a bit taller than from this perspective, which I assume you are not necessarily standing at full height and are
No, very bowed.
puts 2 fingers underneath your chin to raise your face up. Have you been good?
I have tried, mistress, but I feel I have failed in places.
Have you been honest?
No.
Curious.
I find I have an interesting dance that I conduct with honesty.
There is her whole hand approaches the side of your face, and there is just the faintest bit of pressure now being put along it on the side of your face. Honest with others or with yourself?
For the first time, I have struggled with honesty with myself. It is not normally something I struggle with. I know myself and my mind and who I am. But things have been trying recently.
The nails, filed, sharp, yet still delicate, dance plaintively along your neck. There's a sensation of them very slowly sliding down, digging in a bit more deeply as they move along. Kneel.
She does so. In a position, you know, when you can tell arms by the side, shoulders back. She was taught how to do this.
Repeat after me. I am nothing.
I am nothing.
I am without worth.
I am without worth.
But I have potential.
But I have potential.
I will be strong.
I will be strong.
I will be kind.
I will be kind.
And this one, she stands above you as you gestures just with her fingers for you to look up.
I do.
I will be honest.
I will be honest.
You may unlace my gloves now. And you see that the gloves that she's been wearing, very delicate, have been like very strongly laced together and very tightly. And she very, very delicately offers them each to you. And you see that her hands, as the gloves are removed, there is a wince of pain. She seems to have very little bits of jolts of pain every now and then. Seems as though the pressure was helping keep it well.
I'm very delicate with how I do it.
Undress.
Yes, mistress.
Undresses. And then the same for me.
Again, very practiced hands. It's methodical but delicate.
I will ask you to look away.
Yes,
I
mistress.
will let you look upon me when you have earned it.
Hmm.
If I catch you peeking, it will be marks for the back first, then lower.
Yes, mistress.
She goes to sit down. What is this conversation you wanted to have with me?
I need information. Are you aware of a man, Gottlieb?
I am regrettably familiar with him, yes.
Recently, I was involved in an unfortunate circumstance. Terrible things have been happening to the people who live in the tidal zone, and a home collapsed, and people that I know had evidence to suggest that this was an intentional thing. I worry that it's perhaps a common problem, and my instincts are that his kind doings to the people of that zone is performative, but I don't know his motives. And to act and to stop anything further from happening, I need to understand him better.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
one other thing I need to know about, but it is separate.
This is as important as this Mr. Gottlieb's interest. And by the way, I just want to note for context, is entirely nude, has just sat back down again and is just doing the commands towards you.
Vibing, yep. I'm not sure. I encountered a very powerful entity that gave the name Ambrose, but I'm led to believe they're a deity, I think. I'm not sure. They seem to be crossing paths intentionally and perhaps unknowingly in places with people I know, myself included. But I think the most pressing is Gottlieb.
She moves over to you, and as she's had you turned away, she offers you a small little blessing to her pet. She gives a kiss on your cheek from the side.
I smile. I close my eyes just to be mindful, but will smile as I'm kissed. Thank you, mistress.
Sweetness before some bitterness. Now, I've heard of these names you've given, and I will offer to you what information I have. But first, I must ask you to give me something in return.
Anything.
First, even with my initial touches, and even with possible administrations I could offer you, you are tense. You are not normally like this.
No.
I would like you to explain. No reservations. No lying. What is on your mind? And the second thing is who is on your mind. Mistress Rosencruz has informed me you had someone in your thoughts.
Yes. It's not happened before.
Explain. What is on your mind, or who? If you can do both, I will offer you an additional joy. If not, there will be punishment.
I can do both. I promised honesty.
Good.
And I do keep my promises. I have had a moment in recent days, recent nights specifically, where an entity that is very dear to me, not really a person as such, started making me feel things that I am not used to. And started to make me question a mission that I've been on all of my life. And I think in doing so, they cracked open something that has apparently been sealed that I didn't realize was there. Started to feel things about people. And I don't know how to deal with it. And more recently, I had someone, a sister from the church, the Order of Open Arms, I think it's called. Well, I think they seemed to enjoy my company, and I was able to make her smile in a way I don't think people necessarily have before. And whatever it is I thought that meant, I haven't really had anyone genuinely want to spend time with me. I know some people with what I present believe that they want to spend time with that person because I curate that. But I discovered today that I don't think that's the case. So I'm trying to reseal that up.
There's a moment where she pauses you, and along your shoulders, from behind you, like holding you a bit more softly than you're used to. Cordelia is not a harsh person, but you've never known her to give softness so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And the fingers and the nails just sort of rake across a little bit of your chest.
Mm-hmm.
In all the time you've been my pet, have you not wanted to be kinder to yourself?
I didn't ever think I had to.
Why? Speak honestly.
I didn't really think I had a self to be kind to.
You didn't think you had one? Or you didn't think it was worth putting time and showing people who you are?
Who I am and what I am and what my worth is was in my purpose. It wasn't in myself, because myself is to serve that purpose. But I've been questioning that recently.
Turns you around.
Close my eyes.
Puts a finger to your lips. My pet. My darling. You may look at me, and she is, without all of her clothing, she is gorgeous, ravishing.
I'm looking up.
My dear, there is a joy to be in service to another, as you well know. That does not mean your longing, your desires, yourself is to be neglected. Whomever has caught your attention, one, she's certainly very pretty. And two, I think it worthwhile for you to share more of this. And there is just, it's but a moment, but you see in her eyes just a look almost of sadness looking at you. It conveys a sense of, maybe I've let you down. Perhaps I have not taught you well enough to enjoy yourself.
You've taught me very well, and I thank you for your wisdom in this. I think you have taught this side of me very well, because they are all different sides, prismatic in a way, but the lines are starting to blur a little. So I think the rest of me could do with taking on board your lessons.
Good. Rise.
Yeah, I do so.
Gottlieb is a very selfish man, but he is extremely clever. The best advice from the various people I've interacted with and seen to an early end, how shall we put it? The best advice I can give you is that no matter what happens, for him it is the way the story is told. The story need not be true. It needs simply work as intended to further whatever ambitions he has, and as far as I can tell, he is not interested in anyone but the proper folk continuing to live in the city. I suggest you follow whatever leads you can in that sense, and if you would like, I would be happy to do some of my own investigation on your behalf.
I would appreciate it.
However, you will have to earn it.
I'm very good at that.
Taste me. And more things proceed from there that I will not get into detail about, as I have already done much more than I expected to.
Yep. Yeah. Nettie earns it.
Wow, I've never done all of that amount in a whole session before, especially
You're
stream
welcome.
before. Well, thank you. For lack of better phrasing, just simply to add to the absurdity of this moment, cherry popped.
Ooh, delightful.
So carrying on in a much less of a much to a scenario of a much less submissive nature. Well, actually, I don't know any of you, and Solana's there. So, anyways,
Let's find out.
so I see you there, Chitra. You're welcome to be considered in that group as well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
To be fair, that's the only personality of Daisy's that's submissive. She knows how
Yeah,
to be the
every
other way
other
inclined
part
as
is
well.
not.
Yeah.
This one is. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
reason
Oh, big
why
time.
this version gets along with Cordelia very well.
Mhm.
The rest of your group. So you are attempting to look into Damascus. You would be able to talk with Angora and Finley and just any other local residents, and they would give. And Angora did give you an address, Olivia, if you did want to look into that. So,
Just quick question.
yes.
Not going to address the sketch that's been shouted out about.
I don't know. Are you?
No, I mean,
mean-
like, are we just skipping to the scene where
I mean, if you would like a scene beforehand, I didn't want to pressure you to do that. / I thought it would be funnier if you were going over there and then this is still a conversation you were having.
yeah, no, I agree. Olivia's not gonna be meeting Zolana's eyes when she comes out from Mom's house. It's like, here's the address. We should go. We should all go. I've got the address right here. Let's this way. And then we just kind of like,
and I'm unaware, so Solana's immediately kind of like, absolutely. And there's some things you should know about Damascus. And like on the way, I start sort of saying like, normally he's completely in control. He's a good person. He's completely oblivious.
Chitrangada is just is brooding. This is the brooding phase. This is just brooding and is sad and still has the insecure condition. So it's just straight up insecure, brooding, very quiet, but because again, very neurodivergent, it just looks blank. It's just blank. It's just no, there's nothing going on behind it. It's fine. It's all fine.
It's all fine. Why would anyone think differently? It's all good. It's all good.
we should, we're here, near. Do we pass by Finley and Angora's cafe on the way to Damascus?
Yes, you can.
I just sort of wanted to see if Angora so looks skittish every time someone approaches the door.
The thing you realize very quickly, if you even just passing by, she is always like that. Here's the thing. About waist up, perfect pillar of like stoicism. Waist down, feet always doing one of these. Like,
Okay.
I'll put it to you this way. If social anxiety could have an image encapsulated by one person, it would probably be Angora. Just constant anxiety.
Angora, the anxiety iceberg.
Yes. Yes, actually, yes. And also, you get the sense
Or
with
the
times you've
weighted sweater.
interacted, you get the sense that half of Finley's actions are probably, to an extent, a little bit overdone for the sake of trying to calm Angora down. Because if she's annoyed at them, she can't focus on being anxious.
Love it. What a fantastic approach. Okay, cool. I guess I would just stick my head in and be like, any news?
Last that I heard, he had just gone home very recently. Folks said he was feeling a bit under the weather, but I think he's fine.
Okay.
As far as I know, but it might still be good to check in on him.
Yes, definitely going to check in on suspicious men. See you later. And then just go.
Who's that, honey? I was like, oh, they're just checking in on Damascus. And it's like, oh, all right then. Once again, you hear the audible slurping noise of a whole fish being eaten. Selkie, man, seals really love fish.
It's true.
Like you do.
Like
Slurp, slurp. But you are able to go to Damascus's residence. It is a quaint, tiny little home. It's, if anyone's ever seen the like tiny mobile like home things that have ever been done in like places in like the tiny home villages in like Seattle and such, it's barely bigger than that. Like, it is a full home, but it's not that big, and it does not look of anything remotely like luxury.
yeah. I turned to the other two and like trying not to have too much eye contact with Zelena. It's like maybe you should go in first, Zelena, because of the calming presence you clearly have.
Okay, sure.
You knock. The door pushes open.
Looks back at
Sorry.
Chitra, goes, hey, Chitrangada, if the door pushes open, how are we placed in terms of legality of entering the home?
Solana walks in.
I'll bail her out. I'll bail her out after this. It's fine.
Okay. Why?
Usually people feel bad about pressing charges against um, members of certain churches. Hopefully that works out, or I'll just bail her out. It's fine.
Damascus? Hey, buddy.
Damascus?
You
Hello.
see there's a very small kitchen, quaint living room, and there's a back room that you have to imagine is a bedroom. Damascus, who I'm not sure if I've actually properly described Damascus. Damascus is hell, I like the dissonance of this. Only about 3.5 feet tall, a small little dragonoid fellow. So think somewhere in the range of like a kobold, kind of, in terms of appearance and such.
Fairy dragon folk.
Yes, very dragon folk. But is just huddled in a corner under blankets, shivering in fear.
Immediately, Olivia takes a step back, so there are people between her and Damascus, because already she's starting to be like, oh god, 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 oh god. So sort of like grabs Chitrangada by the back of their whatever they're wearing, puts them between, who knows, her and Damascus, her and Zolana, whatever, just in the middle.
Solana immediately goes forward, so she unbuckles her sword and lets it kind of clatter to the floor so that she can kind of crouch down properly. She has time to just like squeeze your upper arm, Olivia, just got knowing like how this affects you, sort of thing, and goes straight down onto her knees. Damascus, hey, what's up? Come on, look at me.
No. If I look, someone will catch me. If I look, someone will catch me. I knew I shouldn't have said no. I knew he was going to be too strong. Nope. Oh, can't be seen. It's bad.
Has someone threatened you, Damascus? Hey, it's Sister Solana. You're fine. You can tell me.
Like looking up at you with just like, again, absolute fear in his eyes.
I recognize this might not be the wisest choice, but hey, I want to help. Could I try and like gather everyone into a group hug so I can try and give Damascus some like to calm down a little bit?
Like a kind of shell.
Yes, I would say that that's appropriate.
Okay. Group hug. Okay, well, that's my group hug for the session. Okay.
The phrasing on that's my one group hug. You all get one every session. Enjoy
It's
it while
true,
you can,
though.
losers.
It's true. It's on my thing. Anyway, do I have to roll for it? I think I do, right?
Hold on, I'm double checking because you sent me the list.
Oh yeah, I do, because
yes,
when I'm
you offer
offering emotional support. Okay, I have rolled. And I would roll with, what would you say?
Emotional support.
Heart?
Emotional support in this. I'm looking at it right now. It would be heart or spirit, whichever one you feel is appropriate.
I feel like heart is probably the correct thing. That is in 11.
Okay, that is very good. You may forego your choice of benefit for yourself to let others clear a condition if they meaningfully join in and open up to you. You can get rid of the fearful condition that Damascus definitely has. So that also means, Chitra, if you lean into the hug as well, the insecurity abates. Because you still had insecure as a condition as well. And, oh, well, the two of you both had a condition. You all had conditions. They're all gone. You happy?
Both are kind of gone. Because I'm guilty as well. But I'm to blame for that.
It's okay.
It's all fine.
Next 10 minutes.
So, the mask calms down somewhat and says, sorry. I think someone has been following me.
Why would they do that, Damascus?
Because I said no. Because I said no.
Okay. Well, people don't like to hear no, but here we are. We're gonna get you through this. We say many no's to people, sometimes on purpose. Who did you say no to?
Someone talking about going after Gottlieb. They were interested in having me become involved with it.
Someone wanted you to go after Gottlieb.
Yes. Through more persuasive means than simply legal.
Put a hand on his shoulder and, look him in the eyes. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Can you describe who's following you?
It's just someone who, I don't know. They're all their clothing looks. It's not very new. It's not well made. It's definitely something that some of the refugees have worn, but some of it looks very off. Like it doesn't. The patterns don't match anything that many of us bring from our homes, and that many of the other refugees have brought from their homelands. It feels like a facsimile of it, like someone's trying to pretend.
They use a name when they spoke to you?
No, they and just accosted me while I was out and about and said that they would be keeping an eye on me for having said no.
Where did they accost you?
Market. I was simply out, and then they pulled me to the side and said, "Would you like to be involved in something to bring Gottlieb down?" I've been advocating against the man for ages and been trying my best to deal with him, but I would never actively seek violence against the man. That would only agitate things even more.
You were sure that they meant violent means?
Considering the rather sharp sword that they had suddenly on their person, I think so. And considering that they had a knife that was moving towards me at one point as a threat, I think so.
Understood. Apologies. Just legal can mean many things. Non-legal can mean many things.
Solana is going to go and put water on a stove and all the rest of it and start making like a soothing drink for Damascus and let these two sort of discuss while she starts to sort of like put together a bit of a care package and is obviously shaking and in shock. So I'm going to busy myself doing that, kind of listening all the time.
Have you, by any chance, do you think that they followed you to your home? Do you think they know where you live?
I'm not sure. I think I've seen someone possibly following me, but I don't know. I'm uncertain. Maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe something else is there that that's not supposed to be there.
Where exactly? Just give me a general location. I can go investigate for you if you'd like. Or do you want to get away? Which
I could not honestly give you a good answer right now. Still a bit shaky at the moment.
I understand. Um, would you? I think that it would be best, and I'm leaving the choice up to you, that you find somewhere else or someone else to stay with. Just for a bit. Just just so that we can, I don't know, investigate, just so we can throw them off your trail a little bit and give us a better chance.
That would be delightful. I would very much like to be safe in my home again.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I have
Uh,
anywhere you can go, Damascus. I could come and stay with you. I know that housing is, well, it's hard unless you've got family with rooms.
I I can help with that. My my mothers have been looking for a guest, stay-in guest for a bit. Uh, they've they help a lot with housing relocation and with people who don't have people who need somewhere else. I can give you their contact details. I can just give you their number. I'll text them. You can stay over at their place. They're they'll probably they'll be my well, the mom that looks like me might be a little weird and might ask you about who your parents are a lot, but apart from that, uh, you know, they'll feed you and they'll keep you safe.
Well, that sounds like a mother to me. Um, were you happen to be making tea by any chance?
It's just ready, and I kind of bring it down. You drink that up, Damascus.
Yeah. As you go to set the kettle back on the stove, you hear like a creak by the front door.
I bend down and pick my sword back up. Not to draw attention to the others, not to try and startle them. And I'm just going to take a few steps closer to the door just to see if I can make anything out.
Before Zolana reaches the door, I'm assuming, having put these two between me and Damascus, I'm closest to the door. Can I sense, would I have to look at the person, or can I sense like what their demeanor is? Is it threatening or not?
I would like you here's what I'll do. Roll for me, figure out a person, and I will let you alter any of the questions that are available on that list to be a little bit more appropriate for the situation to fit more your intention. But I think this is most appropriate. Figure out a person. So that'll be plus wit.
6.
So take an experience for that. You are not moving towards the door, correct? Well, you are the closest, though, to the door, you said. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do in this case. Maybe 1 moment while I find something real quick. There is, you try and like get a bead on the person. Well, Solana is, despite all the armor and everything, is like much more careful and used to this kind of situation of like someone who is like potentially a threat and how to handle it. You overstep just a little bit and you peek your head around just a bit too much. In time, this doesn't hit you, but you watch as the door is smashed open as a massive like mace, like spiked and everything, just crashes. You're going to take a condition for that 6, which I'm going to say in this case is frightened.
I don't think I can legitimately take that one from you. I think you're frightened, girl.
You're scared. You see a cloaked individual. There's really hard to make out any sort of appearance, but you do see there seems to be like a necklace that has a very like aquatic sort of detailing to it. Very likely something that someone from the lower ring and tidal zone would wear. And they look, Zolana, since you were the first one to be ready for this, looks like they're winding up like another swing to head towards Olivia.
Could I use one of my playbook moves?
Yes.
Which is called Gallant Rescue. And I would like to defy disaster that is about to befall someone else. I would like to swing Olivia to safety and ensure, however this combat is going to go, I want to make sure that I am the one in the way of the danger and that Olivia is safe.
Yep. So I would like you to defy yes, I would like you to defy disaster in that case.
I think this is with daring, probably.
Yes, this is with daring.
What?
Okay, so I've rolled an 8. I have +2. That is a 10. Did I lose
10.
both of my conditions with the group hug?
I would say yes.
And that is a 10.
You did seem like you ended up not going for the theater. I would count that earlier as denying something that you would have liked to have done. So I would say that condition is done, and the group hug would have gotten rid of that. So that's a 10. That's 10 on defy disaster. So
and if
10
that is a
on
success, I would like to. I can either ask questions, but I would like to take a string on Olivia.
Take the string.
Yes.
So we have one on each other now.
Yeah.
Yes, you may also learn, yes, do it with style. So how do you prevent this next hit from going towards Olivia? What does this moment look like?
I think this is the first time we've seen Solana in full combat mode. But actually, I don't parry with the sword for now. The sword is now. I've just like thrown the scabbard to the floor, so it's undrawn. But the whole move is about protecting her. So I grab her in one arm and sort of swing her behind me, and I just take the mace hit on the shoulders, on the armor, and ensure that Olivia is kind of like, siphoned out to Chitra before I like turn to face this attacker.
Chitra immediately like puts Olivia, like pats Olivia for a second just to see if she's okay, and puts her behind her as she takes out her wicked sword.
While that is happening, Daisy,
Yes.
you have finished up
Mm-hmm.
however much needed
Mhm.
with Cordelia, and Cordelia is cleaned up as well, is cleaning up and everything. And both of you are in whatever attire you wish. Whatever attire you wish, and she is in back in all of her armor. And then you hear a knock at the door. And Cordelia opens the door, and you see the little pixie just sort of flapping there. Hello, yes, hi. Here to just clean up for the room afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The moment, but goes through the moment that and Cordelia turns around, and you see this about to happen, Daisy. As the pixie crosses the threshold of the door, an illusion fades away, and it looks as though another cloaked individual, is about to plunge a dagger into Cordelia.
Can I act?
Yes, that's why I'm saying you can see this.
I see that happening, and immediately the more demure, like shoulders back, relaxed, sort of like making myself even smaller than my small form is, shifts, and I'm up full height, ready. Now I have hidden blade. I would argue blades plural.
I
and
would say
just
yes,
it's
correct.
like part of it. So you wouldn't have necessarily. It's almost like they weren't there, but because I can shift my clothing as well as my person, I just like extend a hand, and a small throwing dagger will fly out of there, and aiming to like get this person right in the eye if I can.
Oh, sexy. I have a dagger for every personality.
Oh yes, they do. The daggers do change.
When you seek to incapacitate someone with violence, roll daring or grace. This is fight. This is going to be the last roll of the game, and then we're going to move into our outros because we're in the last 10 minutes, folks. I wanted to leave us on this exact kind of moment.
I am definitely gonna roll flip, yes. Nearly swore there. My Scottish nearly came out. Okay.
But when your Scottish comes out, it makes me smile like you have no idea.
The urge to swear. 13. They're trying to hurt my girl.
Holy Christ. Choose 3 and your opponent chooses 1 to apply to you in response. You have flirt with or provoke your opponent and gain a string on them. Through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition. Create an opportunity for an ally through prowess or distraction, or take an object from your opponent or seize a superior position. You get 3 of those.
Okay. Superior position for sure.
Superior position.
The demure I'm a sub has gone. And I'm going to Second one, I'm going to inflict on my enemy the condition frightened.
Okay. They are scared.
Yeah,
shitless
because
right
there's
now.
something about the way that Daisy shifts when they do this. There's just that slight moment of like the eyes suddenly are just like pools of black. The true self comes out ever so slightly, just to create a little bit of unsettledness. And third, I don't need to flirt or gain a string. What were the others?
Create an opportunity for an ally through prowess or distraction.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely create an opportunity for Cordelia, because by doing that, it's alerting her to what's happening and hopefully distracting them enough for her to act. Because I think Daisy knows all well and good that Cordelia's not just not just a sexy lady. She got skills.
She is a little bit more than mommy. She is
mommy plus.
Mommy plus, like
Yeah.
New Game plus, but more options.
Yeah.
So you throw this, the individual who's been cloaked through that, and apparently was not aware that there was an anti-illusion charm in this place. Was very not aware of this. The knife like hits them, and it looks like their arm is down, and they look like they're entirely stunned. Cordelia like just barely turns her head, and you watch as like a short sword is just pulled out. You're not quite exactly sure where it came out of. Like she has it holstered.
Game recognizes
somewhere,
game. Yeah, listen, hidden blades, yo.
And she immediately like ends up behind the individual and says, if you move more than a single inch, you will not live to see the rest of this day.
Yeah.
That tension at that moment. The individual, there's a, even through the cloak and everything, you can see in the eyes just barely, there is such a look of like, I've done fucked up so
Daisy
badly,
will hiss in a way that's not just like it sounds like a person, like it actually sounds like a cat hissing.
Immediately, the person headbutts backwards and begins running down the hallway. And that is where we're going to leave it. There's a confrontation happening. There is an individual running away through this house of pleasure where there are other noises filling the hallway currently besides this mess. And that is where we're going to end this session. So many things happen, folks. So many things happen. Thank you for everyone who's been tuning in. We had like 17, 18 people at one point tuning into this, which is amazing. Thank you, everyone who's been here for all of these different really gay, really just fantastic moments. Very quickly, just let folks say who they are and one or two projects that they're involved with, and where we can find them. So I'll start just to get it out of the way. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, her pronouns, and you can catch me tomorrow back here as a player in our Fabula Ultima campaign, the Six Moon Saga, where I nearly died. That was fun. But I also yeeted an Eldritch Abomination, white-coated motherfucker, into the Oblivion and turned him into like little material that had to be scooped up in a little container. So fuck that dude. So that is me. You can find me there and in most places on social media at Phoenix24Fem. I will pass it on over to the mediator of every bit of awkwardness in this game, to Purna.
Hi, I'm Purna. My pronouns are she, her. I have played Olivia, pronouns she, they. If you want awkward, go no further. You can find me on various parts of the internet as at Purna Writes, Purna Makes Things. I am a game designer, writer, editor, voiceover artist, and product manager, and I think my time is up, so I'm going to throw it to Daisy.
Oh, it's me. Hi.
It's one of you.
It's one of me. Yeah. Who is the real me? Who am I? It's me. I'm Emma Hamalu on the internet. I use she, they pronouns. I brought to you Daisy, who uses an assortment. I next week, well, the 16th, I know days. The 16th of December, I'm running a Christmas one shot over on Valdria's channel, which is going to be Mass Effect, but make it Christmas movie themed. It's going to be quite fun. They bring aboard a bunch of things. It's going to be shenanigans. And in the springtime, there will be a couple things, one on Val's, but also a podcast and potential stream coming soon. Check this place out. It's fine. It's all good. Follow my socials for more info.
Yes, Hamalu is amazing. Porno is amazing. You know who else is amazing? Our own fantastic butch extraordinaire, Percival.
Not gonna lie, for a second, you were the way you started, I thought you were going to go to Sekaya, and then when you said butch, I'm like, oh no, wait, that's me. Anyway,
It is me. I am the butch. Me.
I'm the butch. It's me. Oh, hi everyone. I have been Percival playing Chitrangada. Both of us have two out of three pronouns in common. It's fine. I have, and also the emotional mess. The emotional mess is just ever present. The Venn diagram is a circle. I don't really have a lot going on in the last month or so, because I'm probably going to be moving cities next year. So but otherwise I am a writer, currently working on a bit of a short film script that I hope is fun, and it's a little bit of a rom-com, a little bit of a horror, definitely has a little bit of a possession kink for anyone who's into that kind of thing. So fun times. Also obviously borrows a lot from Indian mythology, because I'm also going to be in next weekend. I think we are going to have our first session of Spliced with Exquisite Corpse Productions. I think it's next weekend. I might be wrong, but you'll find out on my Twitter. Anyway, I'm also going to be in a Starry Nights campaign, which is going to be fun. I'm going to get to play an ex-magical girl who has to be a magical girl again. So it's going to be fun. Let's see how that goes. I think that's this weekend as well, but we shall look out for that. Again, it'll all be on my Twitter, which is where I'm. You can find me at Dr_Viborn, and on Blue Sky at Ombre Lesbian Night, where I am mostly talking about Yuri manga and about lesbians. That's essentially my thing.
The universal constant in fandom, lesbians, because we frequently are the strongest fans. You can quote me on that one. To our last but certainly not least wonderful players, Sakaya.
Hello, I am Sakaya. Go by she, her pronouns. You can find me as Sakaya.bluesky social. And I am, yes, I've got a new podcast coming out next year. I shall also be moving cities next year. I'm in a couple of one-shots coming up soon. I'm playing a Granny Loosestrife in an Albion Absy one-shot, and I'll be in a Vazen on Actualplay UK. And, well, let's hope that I can protect my sweetheart, because I need a good excuse to smooth over this sketch that I have in my bedroom.
Yes. I love that Sakaya has afforded me the rare opportunity to be the mom who just really spoils it for the kid. Normally, I play really supportive, really caring moms. Thank you for the opportunity to just be the mom who says, hey, who's the girl you brought over? Is that who you have a crush on? And the rest of us sit here knowing this is too familiar. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are going to be raiding the Lore Mistress, who is playing To Serve Her Wintry Hunger. Kat, the Lore Mistress, absolute wonder and absolute joy. Just literally played Wanderhome with her yesterday, and Lord, that woman has stamina of 8,000 people, because she literally did 6 hours of streaming yesterday, and now she's doing a whole nother one today, and God, I hope she sleeps at some point. But Thank you, everyone who stayed up if it's late for us when you're tuning in, or thank you for tuning in if this is a VOD that you are watching and enjoying the background or with active attention. Either way, we love our lurkers, we love our VOD watchers, and we love you being here to support us telling more flagrantly queer stories. Thank you, everybody. We love you so much, and we will see you next week for a little bit more of queer, enticing, spicy gameplay. So see you then, folks.